Welcome back to the Aussie Shed, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Project Fairlady. There she is, right up there, sitting above me. So what I've been toying around lately with is a new brake master cylinder stopper for those who are using R35 GDR brake booster and master cylinder combinations on their Z32, which is obviously myself and others. So let's have a little bit of a look at what I've been up to. So this is the original stopper that I had on there. I bought this from an online seller. Mate, basically it's a piece of crap. It didn't sit properly to begin with. It kind of kicks around, jams into the body. You can see where I've had to grind a piece off it to make it fit properly. And yeah, it's just generally, it was garbage on the original setup, and it just doesn't work with the R35 GDR setup. So this is my concept that I've made out of a piece of wood, and this for me is it's ideal. It's taken quite a few iterations to get to this point with it, and this is still not the final design, but it's far enough forward that I'm actually going to start making some out of billet aluminium. The beauty of this, it actually fits with the R35 booster master cylinder, and what I've done here, which is the key, I'm using a grub screw which levers off one of the upper control arm bolts on the shock tower, which gives it a whole heap more support than it would have normally, that you just literally can't do with the old setup. So that's what it takes to make one of these. It takes a fair chunk of billet aluminium to pump one of these out, just because of the shape and how it all sort of works out. So unfortunately, material costs are pretty high with these. I've got 3 chunks of aluminium there. I'm going to make 3 of them initially, one for myself and a couple to throw up on the website. Not sure if I'm going to make any more, because I know just from how long it took me working with these that there's just no money in it. So anyway, I would suggest if it turns out alright and you want one, grab it pretty quickly. Again, not going to be much of a market for people with Right Hand Drive Z32s who have done the R35 GDR booster master cylinder combo that want to go to this kind of level with this sort of stuff. So not something I'm going to be making a whole heap of. So this is a plan for it anyway. Once I get something decent sort of made out of aluminium, I'll show how it sits on the car. It sits particularly well. I'm sure you'll be very happy with it. But yeah, so somewhere in here there's one of these, and I've just got to work out where it is and how to get it out of there. So I might head over to the mill and start chopping away at this and see if I can find this fella here. Alrighty, let's get into it. Alright guys, so after all that, this is what we end up with from that big chunk of billet aluminium. 6061T6. Now let me go through a few of the intricacies of this thing. As I touched on with the wooden concept piece, this section through here, where a grub screw goes, that supports it and gives you an adjustment to adjust it properly off the shock tower. Other than that, there is a slot in this front screw position here so that you can pivot like this as you adjust with that grub screw on the bottom. Now we need to do that because when you use a fitting on the top here that has such a broad flat area, if it's kilted off at all slightly, you'll really notice it. So if it's sitting wonky, whereas just a normal bolt you probably won't notice it, but then you don't get the support that you get with a piece like this. So the grub screw adjuster allows you to position it perfectly to get that completely flat against the master cylinder, and also to get it correct in the other angle. You can probably notice this here. So you can see there's a line across here, and that's because this face here is off from this face and this 90-degree face by 3 degrees. So that's been cut 3 degrees, and this thread has been cut 3 degrees, so that you end up with the face of this piece in a perfect lineup with your master cylinder as well. So there are lots of intricacies, lots of very slight angle changes to give us exactly what we need with this, and hence just the sheer amount of time that it takes to machine something like this up by hand on a manual mill. Yes, so you can appreciate what goes into these things. So as I say, I've made 3 of them. I'll probably put 2 of them up on the website. I honestly don't believe I'll make any more of these, just because, you know, I kind of can't work for $5 an hour making something like this. So yep, let's assemble it, eh? So I've got all stainless steel hardware, including these tapered washers. They're not aluminium, they're stainless steel. So as I mentioned, this piece under here, which is our really the key to the whole thing, which makes this like a very superior piece. I'll just get that started in there. So we'll just set this up so that it is flush. And when this goes in permanently, the idea is put a bit of blue Loctite on it. Once you get this all positioned properly on your vehicle, you won't have to adjust it ever again. But because there is a little bit of variation with these cars, it's the sort of thing that you really need to do on installation. So as I say, if you want to use this as a bit of an installation thing, if you are one of the couple that grabs one of these, bit of blue Loctite on that once you work out where it's going to end up. So our piece across here, some stainless flanged nuts for here. So they're a non-nylock nut, so they're you know, we don't need a nylock nut in this situation because this is actually just a lock nut. Stainless washer in behind that, and then that gets screwed onto here like so. And what I've also done, because I drilled this right through, drilled and tapped this right through because of, well, not really knowing where the adjustment would end up, I thought it looks a little bit daggy. So I've got some little short grub screws to go in the end of that as well. So again, on sort of proper installation, you will need to Loctite this in position once it's there. That kind of blanks off, you know, that threaded hole in the end there and makes it look a bit fancy. If you find you need to adjust this down further, you know, you can possibly get rid of that but you really shouldn't need to. Like I'm pretty confident that no vehicles will need this threaded down any further than enough room to give you clearance for that thing there. So down here, our attachment points. One of these. Same deal in there. That gives us our pivotable amount. Alright, so we're now ready to set her up on the vehicle. Let's go. Let's get it on, eh? Well, it should go on pretty easily. We'll just loosely do up these main fixings right here. Get that so it's just a little bit loose, so that we can still play around with the pivot, you know. So again, this is what I was saying about being able to have some pivot there, so that you can get the face of this flat against the master cylinder. And to do that, I'll just use a set of feeler gauges here. I'm just using a 0.038mm feeler gauge, just to let me know when I'm flat. So obviously you touch one side, you have a gap the other, like we have here. So I'll just wind it out a bit. Oh, I've pretty much jagged it. So that's hitting there. Let's touch it in there. That's pretty good there. So by doing that, we know that we are perfectly flat against that face. I'll just give that a little slight nip there. Now what we do here is we wind out, or wind in, the grub screw against that bolt on the shock tower. And what that does, that just cements that position. So that now cannot go anywhere. So you can see how this works. Obviously any force going that way is now being stopped by this bolt on the shock tower, which is a structural point on the vehicle. Absolutely no movement there, rather than just relying on these two positions here, which have a lot of leverage acting against them. And really the only way you can control this is by sitting it hard against the body, which is just going to wreck your paint and kind of really hack up the body in that spot. And plus you don't have any adjustment there. So this is just a good solution, I think, using that that bolt that protrudes through, or the flat surface of the bolt slash bracket that's there, as a position to brace this off. So basically when it's all done and dusted, as I say, hopefully you will already have Loctite on that bottom grub screw once that's in its position, and just nip up the lock nut on the top here, mate, and you know, you're good to go. Torque these down to whatever, as long as they're tight, they should be fine. But it works so well and it's so strong that you can actually turn this, or turn the grub screw, and you can actually see the face of the brake master cylinder, or sorry, see the face of the brake booster distorting. It's that strong. So ideally you don't want to do that, so you just set it up to a point where it's just about to push the brake booster in, and that's where you're good to go. So then you know for a fact you've got zero movement on your brake master cylinder when you push the brake pedal on the inside. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Hopefully at least a couple of you guys like it, and we'll take these extra two off my hands. As I say, they'll be up on the website, Upper Hand Performance Products. Most of you guys know where it is. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, have a crack at making one yourself. At least you can see what the process is here. Make yourself something up out of fairly cheap disposable material. You know, draw a few plans, get some aluminium, knock it up yourself. And that is about it for this video. So as always, guys, thanks for stopping by the Aussie Shed. Always a bloody pleasure to have you here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Yes, I am not making a huge amount of videos at the moment, but I am still making some. And if you're not subscribed, you could miss out. Anyway, happy Z32 building. Cheers.